Hey everybody, David here. Welcome to the AI Guide on YouTube. Thanks so much for tuning in to another week. I really appreciate it. Special thanks to my subscribers as we're nearing 700. I really appreciate that. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you're not a subscriber, really important. And I appreciate all your help and support. Today we have the most important episode ever done on this show in 3 years. With that, let's quickly mention, click the links below, get my book on Amazon, The Beginner's Guide to AI, Short History of AI and Current Impact on 10 Different Industries. It's a quick read, a couple of hours for the whole book, but it'll give you a really good overview of AI. And the other link, free resources. The resources are free. Everything in the resources are free. You'll learn much more about AI than we can do in these weekly videos or the shorts. And you're going to find out why that's so important right now. So the week that just passed was the most important and consequential week to date in AI, at least recently. What happened? Over 1,000 top people in artificial intelligence signed and published a letter requesting a 6-month full stop to the development of large language models like GPT-4. So we're going to talk a lot about this. This episode will be a little bit longer, but you really want to watch the whole thing because the most consequential stuff is at the end. Without a doubt, the most consequential stuff I'm going to share with you today is at the end. So I urge you to watch the whole video. With all that said, let's get started, and here we go with this week's first episode. This first article is from Axios, which was basically a summary of the letter I mentioned. Dozens of scientists, experts, and tech leaders, including Twitter and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, signed a letter to the 28th of March, calling on labs generating AI to slow down production so potential risks can be studied and researched. Musk, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, Andrew Yang, and more than 1,000 others signed an open letter to AI labs urging them to immediately pause production of AI models more powerful than GPT-4. This does not mean a pause on AI development in general, the letter says, but rather a stepping back from the dangerous race to ever larger, unpredictable black box models with emergent capabilities. So what does black box mean? Well, it simply means that its creators do not fully understand how the algorithm works. If such a pause cannot be enacted quickly, government should step in and institute an immediate moratorium on these models. This is unprecedented in the long history of AI going back to the 60s. That's why I said this is the most important episode we've done. So continuing, the next is an opinion piece from the Wall Street Journal. The author is Peggy Noonan, who's a longtime contributor to WSJ, which is principally business, but does offer other things than business, especially in the weekend editions. So this is from Saturday's weekend edition. It's a tough article that she wrote, this opinion piece. Artificial intelligence, AI, I'm going to abbreviate that from now on, is unreservedly advanced by the stupid, there's nothing to fear, the preening, buddy, you don't know your GPT 3.4 from an LLM, and the greedy, there is huge wealth at stake in the world-changing technology and therefore huge power. We on this channel have talked about that many times, that there is unprecedented wealth for the people who drive AI forward, because it's the biggest technology in human history, which she'll mention in a minute. She goes on to say it's being developed with sudden and anticipated speed. Its own creators don't understand at a certain point exactly how this AI works. And she says people are now quoting Arthur C. Clarke. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. I urge you to read Clarke's books if you haven't. They're amazing. She then talks about an article by Kevin Roose in the New York Times where he was chatting with Bing's new AI chatbot. He concluded the biggest problem with AI models isn't their susceptibility to factual error, which is well documented, and I worry that the technology will somehow learn to influence human users, sometimes persuading them to act in destructive and harmful ways, and perhaps eventually grow capable of carrying out its own dangerous acts. That's Kevin Roose of the New York Times. Henry Kissinger, former Secretary of State and longtime government commentator, said, "The biggest transformation in the human cognitive process since the invention of the printing press in 1455. That's 600 years ago, friends. Now, here's where it gets really intense. Geoffrey Hinton, the British computer scientist called the godfather of AI, called this a pivotal moment in AI development. He had expected it to take another 20 or 50 years to occur, but it's here now. We should carefully consider the consequences of what is being done. Might they include the potential to wipe out humanity? It's not inconceivable. That's all I'll say," Mr. Hinton replied. Or, as Elon Musk has famously said before, it is a non-zero probability of that happening. And then she talks about the letter that 1,000 top researchers published on this past Tuesday, March 28, 2023. These tools present profound risks to society and humanity. Developers are locked in an out-of-control race to develop and deploy ever more powerful digital minds that no one, not even their creators, can understand, predict, or control. So we have talked about this repeatedly, and she's going to emphasize one of my primary points from day one that I mentioned last week and the week before that, and many, many times on this channel, is that the people creating these technologies do not care what the effects on people and society are. Again, that's why I founded the AI Guide, to help prepare you for a highly automated and disrupted future during the peak of my audience's earning careers. She goes on to say, Peggy Noonan, "The men who invented the internet, all the big sites and what we call big tech, that is to say, the people who gave us the last 40 years, are now solely in charge of erecting the moral and ethical guardrails for AI. This is because they are the ones creating it, which should give us a shiver of real fear." She goes on to list specific examples of technology already gone awry. Instagram, well documented for being toxic for teenage girls. Instagram kept its own research secret and changed almost nothing. This is not me. This is a famous reporter at the Wall Street Journal saying this. Google, re-engineering and interfering with its own search results in response to political and financial pressure from interest groups, businesses, and government. also misleading publishers and advertisers about the pricing and processes of its ad auctions. These are the people who are in charge of making AI safe. She basically says that AI obviously will do very good things, and I've said that too, and I've tried to focus on many of the good things that AI will do. However, AI, like everything else ever created, has a shadow self or dark side. The light cannot exist without the dark. Silicon Valley Titan's strongest felt need is to be the richest, most celebrated, and powerful human beings in the history of the world. This is again her opinion. They are uniquely self-seeking and not at all preoccupied with the potential harm done to others of their decisions, which I have repeatedly expressed that thought. We are playing with the hottest thing since the discovery of fire. Now stick with me, I told you the best was going to be at the end. And this is a regular piece in yesterday's Wall Street Journal Weekend by Berber Jen and Keach Hagee talking about Sam Altman and interviews done with Sam Altman. Sam Altman, in case you don't know, is the CEO of OpenAI, who has invented all these large language models with incredible speed. We're going to talk about that in a second. Mr. Altman is 37 years old, remarkable in itself. He has long dreamed of a future in which computers could converse and learn like humans, which he first thought of at 8 years old. In recent months, Mr. Altman has done more than anyone else to usher in this future and commercialize it. OpenAI went from being a small nonprofit into a multi-billion-dollar for-profit company. Now the parent is still nonprofit, but they created a for-profit arm which is where all the value of the company lies. Mr. Altman said he fears what would happen if AI is rolled out recklessly into society. He co-founded OpenAI 8 years ago as a research nonprofit with co-founder Elon Musk. He is so wary of profit as an incentive in AI development that he has taken no direct financial stake in this business. So to the guy's credit, he gets paid what they call a modest salary, and that's it. But we'll hear more. His goal, he said, is to forge a new world order in which machines free people to pursue more creative work. That means most jobs are fully automated. Don't misunderstand that. In his vision, universal basic income, UBI, helps compensate for the massive job loss caused by AI. In the long run, he said he wants to set up a global governance structure that will oversee development and deployment of artificial intelligence. So the company raised $10 billion, I've already mentioned this, from Microsoft last month by selling 49% of their for-profit entity. This article says that some of the founders, other founding staff, left OpenAI when this happened because it was originally founded as a nonprofit, right? One of OpenAI's critics has been Elon Musk, who co-founded the nonprofit in 2015, but parted ways in 2018 after a dispute over its control and direction. And Elon Musk has repeatedly warned since 2018 about the direction AI is taking and its dangers. OpenAI had been founded as an open source nonprofit to serve as a counterweight to Google, but it has now become a closed source maximum profit company effectively controlled by Microsoft. Not at all what I intended, said Mr. Musk this week. He instead said OpenAI's ultimate mission is to build AGI. That's Sam Altman. I should have said that. Sam Altman founded OpenAI to create AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. I guess I didn't fully appreciate that until this week. OpenAI and Microsoft created a joint safety board, but Microsoft is a huge for-profit company, and the big part of OpenAI is now for-profit. Sam Altman has long been a proponent of the idea that humans and machines will one day merge, and we've talked extensively about how Ray Kurzweil and Elon Musk have talked repeatedly about brain-computer interfaces and the conversion of humans and computing into what will essentially become a new species. So they talk about Sam Altman's background. He grew up in a modest background. His father taught him, you always help people even if you think you don't have time, which is extremely admirable. Mr. Altman, the younger, who now runs OpenAI, had done a startup called Looped while he was in college. He left college, Looped was sold, and then he went to Y Combinator and started running that, which spun out a bunch of huge companies, including Airbnb and others. During this time, DeepMind was purchased by Google in 2014, and that is when Sam Altman and Elon Musk decided to found OpenAI as a counterweight to Google and DeepMind. OpenAI researchers soon concluded that the most promising path to AGI rested in large language models, GPT-3, ChatGPT, which is GPT 3.5-ish, and GPT-4, or computer programs that mimic the way humans read and write. Sam Altman says, you want to be there first and you want to be setting the norms. That's part of the reason why speed is a moral and ethical imperative. Let's get a sense of that speed, which is mind-boggling. Mr. Musk's departure in 2018 marked a turning point. Sam Altman became CEO and helped complete the creation of the for-profit subsidiary in early 2019. Microsoft then put in $1 billion, and OpenAI agreed to use Microsoft giant cloud computing servers as the sole platform for its technologies and algorithms. They also gave Microsoft the sole right to license OpenAI's technology for future products. That was back when they first invested $1 billion. Then large language models that they've developed are trained on billions of pages of publicly available text. GPT-3 rolled out in June of 2020. So think about that. That is 2 years and 9 months ago. The head of safety, AI safety at OpenAI, then left after this deal with Microsoft and founded a rival AI lab called Anthropic, whose goal is to get to AGI. And then in November of 2022, so just over 2 years after OpenAI rolled out GPT-3, OpenAI rolled out ChatGPT, which had more than 1 million members signed up within 5 days of its release. And this ChatGPT came after DALL-E 2, which was earlier in 2022. So in a little over 2 years, OpenAI rolled out GPT-3, then DALL-E 2, then ChatGPT, and now GPT-4. By February of this year, ChatGPT had reached 100 million users. Then just last month, it's April 2nd, barely last month, OpenAI rolled out GPT-4. So what does all this mean? You know, our focus here is on talking about the human impact of all these technologies. Based on everything I just read to you, the future is clear. Unless governments step in, AGI is on the way. Keep in mind that Ray Kurzweil predicted the singularity would occur by 2029. That's still 6 years away. With a breathtaking pace, an exponential pace already of AI development. So is it possible that AGI could be here within 6 years? Why do you think that 1,000 top people in AI penned a letter a few days ago to say we need to stop? This is why. Because here's the problem with AGI. If it is currently not possible to understand how a large language model like GPT-4 works, it will be impossible to understand how an AGI works. And therefore impossible to control, and therefore impossible to know what direction that AGI will take. It's a coin flip. Positive or negative, it's a coin flip. However, with all the stuff scraped from the internet for training primarily, which is negative, why? Because it's well known, it's very well known now that negativity sells. That's how every single person selling anything on the internet sells it, is negativity. We talk about the negative aspects of AI here to prepare you. We are not selling anything so far. That may change one day, but right now, for 3 years, we've sold nothing. This has been a true nonprofit. The reason I'm doing this is to prepare you, to guide you, to protect you from what is coming. That is my mission. A pause is extremely necessary. However, it's unlikely. Other governments and other parts of the world may step in to restrict this AI development or pace of development and slow it down. It is unlikely in the United States. That would require legislation authorizing new regulations, and with a split government in the US right now, that's extremely unlikely, barring something extremely unfortunate happening that triggers it. But in the absence of an extremely unfortunate event, then government regulation is not likely. That means that Ray Kurzweil's prediction of the singularity for 2029 moves from the realm of possible to probable. This is my opinion. However, it's based on 20 years of being a senior executive in companies, often the number 2 executive. I know how companies work. There is nothing internally that will stop any of these companies from developing these technologies. That is not how corporations work. It isn't. And that's based on 20 years of experience. So prepare yourself. Click the links below. Get my book on Amazon, The Beginner's Guide to AI. And also click that link below and get the free resources. davidtheAIguide.com/resources. The resources are free. Everything is in the resources is free. You'll learn a lot about AI and prepare yourself. Pick careers that are human touch centric. There's a lot of those. Everything else will be automated. Sam Altman said that. UBI will be necessary. Could UBI pass here in the United States right now? Never. Never right now. Could things change in the future? Sure. Things can always change. I mean, that's all life is change. But sitting here today, UBI is unlikely. The pace of automation is not. The pace of automation is almost a certainty now. Forewarned is forearmed, as my grandmother used to say. Thanks so much for tuning in to this critically important episode of the AI Guide, and I wish you a blessed week. Take care. Bye.